when they would take and they went ahead and hung one of the outlaws. Remember they had the guy that had the harness and they'd hang him?
Right.
And then Bob would walk around to all the little kids and say, "Is that your daddy?"
I bet that scared the heck out of kids. We had another one that was a lot of fun. Getting in a big argument out the street. You know, one guy would say he was the fastest guy in the West, and the other guy would say, "I don't believe you are," and argue back and forth. And the sheriff, I guess, would say, "Well, prove how good you are before we have a shootout." And the guy would look up there and see the church bell on the church way out there? Yeah. Bing dong, bing dong. Wow, and all the tourists said, "Wow, is that something else?" And then whoever it was, me or any of the guys would say, "Go see that again?" "Yeah." "All right, bing bong, and wow, boy, now the tourists are really excited. So then I'd be talking to the sheriff, and all of a sudden, bing bong. We did that always on purpose. Then the people would laugh, you know, put them on a big act. That was a neat place, though. You know, Betty and I went to Buckskin Joe, 10, 15 years ago, and it was still there. Yeah, quite a place. Did you ever go there?
No.
It's just the Fat Stock Show and Rodeo Parade in Houston. This is probably maybe in 1961, 62, somewhere through there. And so Joe was supposed to ride a horse. Well, Joe didn't have a horse, but a friend of his had a beautiful Palomino horse. And so, son of a gun, if Joe didn't make a saddle with silver conchos and everything, never made a saddle before in his life. He's such a talented fellow. He made this beautiful saddle for the horse. And of course, he didn't go down to the tack store and buy all the harness and all that. He made all of that too. Joe made his boots, beautiful boots, you know, big tall boots with 3 or 4 colors and insets and roses and all that kind of. Never made boots before, but Joe was the kind of guy that would research stuff like that with no internet in those days, you can imagine. Joe made all of his costumes, made his clothing and everything. He was a very, very talented guy. Tuned up his own guns, modified his guns. Well, one evening, we were down at our little local fast draw club. We met probably once a week at Alexander Guns.
And this was in Houston?
In Houston, yeah. And so we'd be standing around telling lies and shooting stories, and you know, and hoorahing each other, having a good time, practicing a little bit, you know, swap ideas. Well, one evening we were talking about, and the discussion came about that it took a lot of physical strength, arm and hand strength, to really be good at fast draw. And it does. It takes a lot of strength. You know, it takes a lot of capability there. So we're talking about things. Well, at the time, I was a tile setter, and I was very, very strong, you know, working this type of stuff for years and years and years. I really had a lot of, and I was at the peak of my life, probably 30 years old maybe. Well, discussion came about strength. Somebody mentioned, yeah, you know, you see guys that take a telephone, Yellow Pages telephone, and rip it apart. And somebody else says, yeah, but you know, that's a ploy, because what happens is you have to know how to ruffle the pages and then rip a page at a time, so it's not quite as what you think. And I say, cool, let me show you how to do this. So I get and Alex has 2 or 3 yellow pages, and of course he was really ticked off after this all took place. We didn't have it. So I took the yellow page directory and I turned it over, and I have the spine of the book in my hand. And so I take my hand and I rip that sucker in half and lay the 2 pieces down on the table, you know, look around at all the folks here. You try that. Well, this is the honest truth. My old friend Bob Graham, he says, shove everybody out of the way. You know, hell, if that wimp can do it, that Bob wimp can do it, I can do it. And then Bob grabs a phone book And he goes and he starts, and next thing you know, he's going, and he's shaking all over, and he's jumping up and down, his eyes are popping out, and he never gets the thing torn. So we all have a good time laughing at Bob at the time, you know. And so Joe, all the time Joe was sitting back, you know, not saying nothing. Joe says, "Let me show you how it's done." So Joe walks over and picks up one of those half books that I tore into, and you have to have your whole hand on that thing to really make, you know, get the leverage. Joe takes that half book, rips it in quarters. He says, "Let's see you do that." That was the end of the story right there.
Now, I don't remember that, fellas. I won't.
Well, you were drunk that night.
I don't think I was there. Probably not.
Well, Bob is like me. He has selective memory. You get away with that when you get
I
up.
certainly must.
When you achieve our age.
You have a telephone book around here?
They're all torn up.
No, they're all in the
Yeah, I
car.
mentioned they are.
In the car.
Give you half a book.
And I wouldn't even try the local AJ phone book.
On the-
Probably right, you have to crack it because it's glued all together. You probably have to crack it. Once you get it going, then you just keep going.
Practice, just simple.
See, I taught you how to do it.
That's right.
I bet
That's
you
why I said I don't
went
think I was
home.
there.
I bet you went home and you practiced and you practiced and you practiced till you finally got it.
I probably did.
No, you guys got it right.
But we don't. What do you do?
Take this hand on it, take this hand on it, and you do it.
No.
Never did that way.
It's a hard up, burn the damn wagon.
No, she likes your stories. She just doesn't believe them. That's all.
I hope not. She's too smart to believe it. They're really
That's right.
No,
Or did
I'm
they
very naive.
You're gonna deny your relationship to us here before long. I see it coming.
It's getting more and more unbelievable, isn't it?
Get up here and say, "Who are you?"
Oh, no, he's already admitted to his part in the robbery, train robbery.
Let me tell you a story that I have one version and Fred has another version. But I do sincerely believe that my version is correct and I think his version is wrong. What happened was one time, again, the three of us decided we were going to go, we were in California, we were going to go to this fast draw contest up kind of in the Mojave Desert. So we're going in my pickup truck and we head out and we got the radio on. And so we're driving along and I'm driving along and the radio station is Bakersfield with Buck Owens singing, you know, Bakersfield and we're driving, we're going to go to this place at night so we can shoot the next morning, see. So we're driving and the station keeps getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. First thing, we can't even hear it. So old Smart's here, he says, "Something's wrong here, fellas." So we pull over and we're heading towards the ocean. The desert's over there.
What happened is, Bob's driving along and we're talking about, and I asked him, "Where is this?" He said, "Out in the Miami Desert." I says, "Well, Bob, should the ocean be right over there?" There was the ocean. We were going to Santa Barbara. The moon's reflection is on the ocean out there.
Well, so what is your version of the story, Fred?
I don't think I had a different version, but I remember going through the one light town.
No, that's the second part now.
I was in the back of the truck.
Let me tell the second. Let me tell my version
There was
first.
just one light in this town. Bob was driving, going through there, and I'm sitting in the back, and I pulled out my little gun, and I waited right about here, and boom, here comes that sucker down.
Now let me tell
It
you
just
the
ripped the
real.
back of the truck.
Now I'll tell you the real story. We turn around and we head back towards inland, you know, to the Mojave Desert. And David is in the front, and I'm in the front driving, and Fred's in the back, you know, probably drunk, drinking beer, I don't know. But Fred's laying there, and we go through this little town. It's not a one-light town, but they have a number of street lights. So I slow down, you know, I'm very careful because I don't want the local sheriff to get me. And so we go, it's still in the middle of the night, we go and I look in the mirror and I notice as I go along, every one of the street lights in the mirror go out. And I go under, and this is weird, it's eerie. I just go down the street and every light goes out. And I say, well, maybe they go out automatically on the timer. No, well, that sucker's laying there, and he's laying there until a light comes out. Boom! Light another light. Boom! Another light. Boom!
These lights are old style with a neck and then a big,
Yeah, big roads. Yeah.
Now, my favorite story about Fred and his shooting is we were at Leon Creek, South San Antonio, out in the woods there, and they're in the brush, and Fred steps down beside this rattlesnake.
Beside what?
A rattlesnake.
Oh, rattlesnake.
He jumps up in the air, whoops out his pistol, and in the air shoots that snake's head half off. Half off. The old snakes with the head. Then he fires 5 more shots, doesn't come close, takes my rifle, fires it.
I'm always good at that, man.
But that first shot, man, pow!
And one shot.
And then finally the snake crawls over into the woods. Clem shows up about that time, says, well, let's go hunt up that snake. And Fred says, let's go this way. But boy, that was something, that first shot. Hit that snake.
He got scared again right outside your house here, didn't he?
I think he's trying to say, Fred, that was an accident.
Oh, we were at this, what was that? Chula Vista.
Yeah, Chula Vista.
Chula Vista, we were shooting wax, and they had this target, and they had the light on the reaction light right at the guy's heart, and they were using these little star ashtrays to cover the light.
We're shooting wax off a button.
Yeah.
Kind of like you steal in Las Vegas back in those days, huh?
Or no, it was off a reaction.
Yeah, it was a button, I thought.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because the light went on and you drew.
No,
It wasn't off the button. Anyway, Fred broke 3 ashtrays. We had 3 shots, he broke 3 ashtrays.
They kept saying, Fred, you're not supposed to hit the light, Fred. Hit the damn target.
Yeah, the sheriff of El Cajon beat me out of first place by a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
And he was shooting an automatic that was already cocked. Colt 45 is already cocked. They let him cock the damn thing.
Yeah, you can't
Never
trust
had
it.
this coming out.
You can't trust those cops.
Yeah.
Did you shoot live?
No, wax.
Wax bullets?
Yeah.
Well, Bob,
Elvin Carl, what's his name? Remember, he was
Yeah.
sheriff of El Cajon.
Yeah.
Bob likes to tell a story when we get to reunions. He's usually the main speaker sometimes, and he says all these things we do. There wasn't a Crismon ever in jail. Wasn't a Crismon ever in jail. Just to impress on everybody. And I raised my hand. I said, "Oh no, I've been in jail one time." And Bob just shocked, and I says, "Well, here's what it went. I was in the Navy just out of boot camp in San Francisco, and our uncle lived out in Chowchilla Valley. He had, Uncle Herbert had alfalfa farm. And he would come in, and Aunt Cora lived in town on Van Ness Avenue. And of course, the kids was around, her kids, and you, some of them met her. Well, I decided one Friday evening to go out to visit Uncle Herman, but I didn't announce that I was going out there. So I went down downtown San Francisco and got a bus ticket to Chowchilla. And so we went out there. It was getting dark, because, and I got out to Chowchilla, a little old town, just a crossroads. Everybody, there wasn't anybody around. I got off the bus left, and I was standing there. And then the sheriff came out, and he says, "What you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking for," I was just 19 years old, And I said, "Well, I'm looking for my Uncle Herman." And he said, I said, "Herman Crismon?" "Oh, yeah." He said, "I know where he was, but I'll take you out there." So we go out to see Uncle Herman. We finally find his place, and we knock on the door. There wasn't any door, not answer. Walked around the house, there wasn't any lights on, and this and that. And it was getting along about 11 o'clock then, and the sheriff says, Well, I guess he's gone. And I said, yeah, I do. And he says, well, there's no bus going back to San Francisco until in the morning. So I says, well, okay. And then the sheriff says, well, why don't you come on in and we'll put you in the jail tonight. And I said, well, okay. And my wife will give you breakfast in the morning and then you catch the bus back to town. So I went in there and we went into the jail and we didn't have anybody in there. Just left it all open, you know, and I took off my blues, you know, and my skivvies and laid out on this mattress there in the cell. And next morning his wife come in after I dressed with the breakfast and everything, and she feeds the prisoners, see, or her charge. So she feeds the prisoners and me in the jail, no locks, no nothing. And then the bus comes by and I get on the bus and I go back into Frisco there, and Herman came into Frisco that Friday night to see Cora and the kids, you know. And they usually call me up and I would go over there.
Yeah.
So I goes back and then I gets up, hooks up with Uncle Herman and Aunt Cora on Van Ness Avenue. And that's when I shoot Bob out of the saddle every time. But there was one Christmas to spend.
And I think I've heard that story before, actually.
Yeah, the only problem with this story is you're talking about Uncle Herman and Aunt Toby?
No, Cora.
Oh, you mean his sister?
His
Cora.
sister Cora.
Oh,
They
okay.
lived on Van Ness Avenue.
Oh, all right.
Mama used to always say, no, she said to someone one time, none of my children have ever been to jail. She was very proud of it.
Well, actually, Uncle Bill, since we're confessing, I have a confession of my own. I'm another Crismon that's been in jail.
Well, it's been a lot of Christmas. I got a Crismon been in jail too for a couple of nights.
Back in my wild days when I was single,
Tell me that one.
I used to like to go to the country and western places and drink and dance and try to pick up the girls. And I did pretty good, by the way. But anyway, one night I had a few, and I got pulled over by the cop, and he wanted me to, you know, do all these aerobics out on beside the car, and I guess I didn't do such a good job because they were laughing and having a good time. And he says, well, you know, he says, I'm gonna have to take you in. And I said, all right. So he takes.
It was their fault, not his fault. He was drunk.
So they take me into the Gilbert jail, to the Gilbert police station, and they make me blow into that machine and that kind of thing. And then they said, is there somebody that you can call to come pick up your car? And then they locked me up in this jail and gave me a phone book and said, you better call you a lawyer. So the kids were over in Florida at the time. This was in the summer, so I was out as a so I called a lawyer and said, well, don't tell him anything. Keep your mouth shut. Just come see me in the morning. So I said, okay. So I called, and they said, okay, you can call somebody up and come pick you up. So, and he came and got me, and they car home, I guess. And I got in the car with Dad, and he says, God, you smell like booze. Of course I smell like booze. I've been drinking all night. So I spent about, I don't know, maybe half an hour in jail. And I got a lawyer and spent about $4,000, and they got me out on reckless driving, and I learned my lesson. I'm telling you, man, if I've had one beer, I don't drive. That's it.
That's not the time you hit the tire or something or other and almost wrecked the car, is it?
No, that was another time, Mom.
I think Fred's been in jail.
Yeah, I spent the night in jail once. It was,
I was a young sailor, about 18, and there was 3 of us, and this Apache from Arizona was 21. Well, he went and got a case of beer, and we took it down to the beach away from everybody. And we were drinking the beer, not bothering nobody, but this damn Indian, Yaza was his name, he decided to do a war dance and all that shit down there, you know. Drunker than hell. Well, these shore patrol was up there with binoculars, you know.
Yeah, those are.
Oh hell, there's 3 sailors down here drunk and shit. One of them's dancing around, naked as the jaybird. So they come down and get us. Well, I seen them coming, so I buried the beer, you know. But they watched me, you know.
Yeah.
And they knew where the beer was buried, so they dug the beer up as evidence, and they hauled us all in. And the next morning, I went before the captain.
Yeah.
Captain's mess.
Yeah.
And he says, well, drinking as a minor, you got 1 week's restriction. No liberty next weekend. It ain't even on my records, you know. That happens all the time to a young sailor. So me and these 3 guys walk out of there snickering because we got mess cooking next week anyway. We don't get liberty next week. So we quit Alexander. We were restricted and we had restrictions anyway.
You ever been in jail, Bob, that you can tell us about?
Yeah, I guess I have.
Maybe the last time or the first time or somewhere in between?
Well, we'll see.
Do you have it turned on?
First time I was-
Yeah, do you want me to turn this off, Bob?
No, that's all right.
He says, well, I can remember last week now.
You know, the thing about this camera here is I'm going to send this to each and every one of your wives.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't have one, so you're.
Well, you don't need to worry then, do you?
My next ex may have something to say about it. Now, I was 12 years old and I turned a bunch of boats loose down in
12
Florida.
years old?
Yeah.
Turn them loose, huh?
Yeah, they had all these big long docks in West Palm Beach Bay out there. And his buddy of mine and I decided we'd turn all these boats loose just as a prank. And we got caught at it. All these boats are floating out in the damn bay. They took him down to this jail and called my mother. And she said, well, I hope you put him in jail and keep him there all night long. I didn't know that till later.
Yeah.
So the sheriff, he did. He put me in jail, and right in my cell was an old stinky mattress and puke all over the place, and it was terrible. It was good for me though, because I learned something there. And across the way, they had about 12 Cubans in the cell. And man, they kept me awake all night long. I didn't know what they were saying, but I know it wasn't right. It wasn't good. And I spent the night in jail. And after that, well, my mother came and got me next day. So I got to stay out of jail most of the time.
And you learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson on that one, yeah.
Well, when I was in high school, I got caught fighting out in the schoolyard. And I went into the principal's office and they called my mom and they said, is it okay if we whip your boy? And she said, yeah, go ahead.
Beat the hell out of him.
Oh, they beat the crap out of me. I thought, Mom, how could you do that?
Learned a good lesson that way.
Yeah.
I started that no jail business.
That is a tough
Mama's 80th birthday. Yeah. I got up behind Mama and I was bragging on how her raising us 6 kids. How that she just beat the hell out of all of us to make us right, you know. Thank God she did that, because we all stayed out of jail, you know, all 6 of us.
You never got caught.
Yeah.
How about you, Dave? Never been in jail?
No, never been in jail.
What?
However, there was this guy that got his false teeth stole.
Oh, yeah. Tell us that
Let's
story.
see.
Why would you steal somebody's false teeth?
Well, that's a long story. Here, go.
What,
That was the question.
Good question.
my dad I was maybe about 12. My dad is hard of hearing like the rest of us. And there was one of the kids' father was a guard down at this, across from Stinson Field there in San Antonio. It was Army Reserve place there, or National Guard place. And,
World War II barracks and stuff.
And so the kid says, hey, let's go down there. There's this gymnasium. And we'll go down there and play. So we went down there and we were playing basketball. And this guard came in and took, grabbed us and took our names down and kicked us out. And so we didn't think anything about it. I went home and told Pop, okay. And a little while later, we got a notice, subpoena to show up in court, in juvenile court. So then Pop says, well, show me this place. We went down there and there was signs everywhere saying, no trespassing, keep out, brand new signs they just put up. So anyway, we show up at juvenile court and the guard who got us, he's telling about how all these kids did all these bad things and destroyed all this property and whatever, et cetera, et cetera. And Pop says, where you guys, where were they at, and where'd you catch these kids? And he said, they were in the gymnasium. And he said, and he said, what were they doing? And he says, well, they were playing basketball. So anyway, and then the guy goes and he says about how that these kids were so bad, he said one night they even stole my Jeep. And Pop laughs and laughs and laughs. And the judge says, why do you think that's so funny? He says, well, he said they stole his teeth. And he said, no, they stole my Jeep. And then Pop, I thought you said they stole your false teeth. Anyway, and the judge says, just go on out of here.
Get out of court, Joe.
Yeah, Casey knows.
Yes. But anyway, this old man had finally caught somebody, and it was us kids that were in there playing basketball.
No, but you mentioned.
I was there the week before that and just tore the hell out of the place.
But you mentioned that Pop brought up that why was the place open if you were gardening? It was supposed to be locked up. The boys just walked in, And then also the guy, Pop asked him about, you posted signs, and I just got them up or something like that. But
Pop, you say, oh yeah, signs everywhere. Pop says, well, when did you put them up?
Yeah, Pop pretty well discredited him before he got into the false teeth thing.
Right, Pop had him all beat up pretty bad.
Hey, I tell you this, but it's time to go eat.
Oh.
Don't go in there.